we should have brought another person on because 1 keen, 2 keen,
where's
3 keen.
Yeah, I love the Thri-Kreen. I'm keen to play it, and much like the Formians, there is a difference between those two races, and these are not them. So Thri-Kreen are an insectile, have insectile features, and 2 pairs of arms. Their bodies are encased in a protective chitin. I'm going to go with that. They can alter the coloration of their carapace to blend in with their natural surroundings. Although Thri-Kreen don't sleep, they do require periods of inactivity to revitalize themselves. During these periods, they are fully aware of what's happening around them. Thri-Kreen speak by clacking their mandibles and waving their antenna, indicating to other Thri-Kreen that they are what they're thinking and feeling. Other creatures find this method of communication difficult to interpret and impossible to duplicate. To interact with their folk, Thri-Kreen rely on a form of telepathy.
So, once again, ability score. You get 3 points. You can put them in 1, 2, 3, or you can put 2 in one and 1 in another, and you can do any one because that's a new thing everyone does. Yes, so your creature type is you're a monstrosity, which that's just racist. Maybe humanoids are the monstrosity, and these guys are just bug people.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like this since Savage Species from the 3rd edition, where you could play monsters and how to play them. So this is it's been a while since I've seen something like this. And once again, some spells aren't going to affect you. We'll list the ones that specifically say humanoid for you there, as we have the others. But probably worth putting them on your character sheet somewhere just in case someone casts something at you and you forget. You're like, oh wait, that doesn't work on me.
Yeah, I think this is one of those races that instantly is going to replace the tiefling in that tried and true. I've actually got one in one of my campaigns, Vala, which is a tiefling who has a helmet that goes over and never takes the helmet off because is embarrassed to be a tiefling.
Oh, yeah.
And there's not many tiefling in there, like literally came from 9th level of hell sort of thing.
Yep.
And keeps the race a secret because there's not many of them. Your size, you can be small or medium, depending whether your origin puts you in Australia or some weak-ass country that doesn't have big bugs.
Doesn't have bugs that you can actually wrestle with.
Piss-ass bugs. Your speed is 30 feet, unless you're from Australia, where it's 120 feet. Your chameleon carapace.
Yep.
While you aren't wearing armor, your carapace gives a base armor class of 13 plus your dex modifier.
They've settled on 13.
Yeah, well, obviously they don't want to piss off the dragon kind or any of the other kinds that we've had that have the 13 plus dex. Dark vision, you can see in dim light. Okay, same as before, 60 feet. What do you think so far? Pretty happy with all those?
You skipped one last bit on Chameleon Carapace because I interrupted you so rudely. As an action, you can change the color of your carapace to match the color and texture of surroundings, giving you advantage on dexterity stealth checks that make you hide in those surroundings. So
yeah,
that dark vision standard. Looks like everyone's getting dark vision.
Going on to one of the main abilities this race has, secondary arms. This actually allows me to create the first ever D&D 5e character I was making for a one-shot that my brother's friend ran.
Yep.
So you have 2 smaller, slightly smaller secondary arms below your primary pair of arms. The secondary arms can manipulate an object, open or close a door or container, pick up or set down a tiny object, or wield a weapon that has the light property.
Wow, finally. I've been waiting for this since Spider-Man was going through his mutations into Man-Spider. I wanted to play a character with extra limbs that can do more things, and they had them in some of the Star Wars games. You had some of the races, the pod racing race, and some of those that had extra limbs, and you could do more attacks. That was the benefit of playing those races, and it's carried along here. They've limited you by not letting your arms hit the gym. I guess no matter what your strength is, if you've got an 18 or 20 strength, that's still light, because these things just, they don't lift. If your other arms lift, these arms even lift, bro?
Yeah, well, I think the main thing is to live your dream. It might be a grievous mistake to not play the Psy Warrior. And for the weapon that you carry with your secondary arms, you can carry a saber. And just make sure it has the light property.
Here's the ones for you. So you can easily wield a two-handed weapon with your main arms, and then with your second set, wield a weapon that has the light property. So there you go. And I've looked at some of the pictures, and if you've got like a ranged weapon, like the hand crossbow, or even a throwing dagger or some such, so you can go ranged if you needed to. You know, say you run out of movement, you move up to someone, you hit him with your big weapon. You've used all your movement rate. You need to hit that bloke over there. Oh, thrown weapon with my extra set of arms, you know, like and while one iron's getting it out and passing it to the other, you can be production lining them, or you can go down the route of sword, board, and extra little dagger things sitting out there in the middle, slice sickles or short swording it up. So heaps of little things.
One of the things we just can't overlook with this character trait is obviously the ability for social interactions and things along the lines of intimidation, persuasion, charisma checks, where basically you go to someone, get stuffed, and then they do that, and then you cast Mage Hand, and it gives them the finger, and then they cast Mage Hand, and then you have two more hands come out of your jacket and give them the finger, and they're just like, well, I'm outgunned 5-3. I got nothing.
Yeah.
That you might even call it an arms race. And then sleepless. You do not require sleep, and you can remain conscious during your long rest, though you must still refrain from the strenuous activity to gain the benefit of the rest. Fair enough. That seems to be pretty common in this whole thing. Thri-Kreen telepathy.
Here we go.
Without the sense of magic, you can't speak the non-Thri-Kreen languages you know. Instead, you use telepathy to convey your thoughts. You have the magical ability to transmit your thoughts mentally to willing creatures you can see within 120 feet of you. A contacted creature doesn't need to share a language with you to understand your thoughts, but it must be able to understand at least one language. Your telepathic link to the creature is broken if you and the creature move more than 120 feet apart, if either of you is incapacitated, or if either of you mentally breaks the contact. I love this.
You are a big fan of telepathy. So what do you reckon about this whole thing? Did anything that strike you as good, bad, the ugly, that wrapping it up? Or summarizing?
I love the idea of this. There's a really good manga or anime called Seven Deadly Sins. And at the end of the first season, there's a character that I think is like the god of love or something that basically comes up with a great plan, and thought transfers the plan to everyone within like a kilometer radius. This is that. Like you can just go, like you can't talk to them, but you can put a visual representation of your thoughts and your plan. So all those times the characters are like talking and what's the word? Metagaming. As long as you're the one spreading it to everyone, you could metagame in real time where basically you're all getting ready to attack. And you can send out a message, okay, we're all going to attack on 3, and in their brain they get 3, 2, 1, attack, that guy. So, like, it's perfect. Like, there's so much you can do here. I love the fact, I'm a little bit weirded out they don't have some sort of wall climb. I understand they've got to, like, modify it so it's not too OP. But come on, we've got Rune Knight. We can give the bugs wall climb.
Yeah, extra ways to hold on to things. Like, why wouldn't they have a benefit in some way? At least proficiency in athletics. Yeah, and look at their legs. They're made for hopping and dancing around the place and quickly climbing.
Yeah, I think I would have really enjoyed it if they had like subtypes, like shifters.
Oh yeah,
Like one that could jump, one that can climb.
The mantis version, and you get an extra depending which way. Yeah, I could see that could have been fun. Someone leave that for someone to homebrew. What's your character concept there for these guys? What do you want to play with these guys?
So mechanically, what I want to play is my first ever character I tried to design, and I showed up to the one shot that I was playing with a paladin that had 2 crossbows with the crossbow expert feat, 2 hand crossbows, because I was like, it's going to be
I
like
remember
Matrix.
that character, or at least hearing about it.
And the first thing that happened was I fired the 2 crossbows, and the DM said, great. And then we got into a big argument about loading, and basically it came down to you have to have a hand free for loading. Now I got 2 hands free.
You want to be a melee attacker. Oh, I'm also thinking, like, you could melee attack and be one of those sort of Gish type characters where you can cast spells with your small hands, and your other hands are impeded by wielding shield and coming in and bashing things and moving around. So I could go down that way.
I can't hear you saying Psy Warrior. You're trying to make me believe you don't want to do a Psy Warrior with this one, and I don't believe it.
Hey, these are going to be fun. All these classes, races, we've gone through all 6 of them now. They all look like they're going to be awesome to play. I've got my books. I'm looking forward to some Spelljammer. Mitch, how are you going to tie yourself into Spelljammer coming up?
Honestly, I look at these races and I want to do one-shots for each of them. Like, you could do a Jadoon one where you go in and control a infestation of Thri-Kreen.
Yep.
You can do a Thri-Kreen one where it's Ender's Game and you're going to get revenge on the Earthlings that destroyed your home planet. You can do the Adozi, where you are the flying monkeys of a wizard and you're sent out to capture... Listen, we might change it from a little girl because we might get some hate on the internet. I could just see so many beautiful one-shots coming up. But honestly, I think my favorite would be the Wizard of Oz one-shot.
Thanks again for joining me for all 6 of these. I can't wait to talk more about Spelljammer and get right into it. We've got ships, we've got rules, we've got giant miniature space hamsters. We've got all sorts of things to look forward to, and the actual adventure. So all these things are on the cards that we're going to have to start getting into. Spelljammer's here, and Planescape's up next with Dragonlance. So bring it on. We're getting the classic adventures. I think they're all coming out.
Baby. Hell yeah. Thanks, Wayne, man. And I will see you next time.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for pushing through with me, and we got through this.
Yeah, I think I did like 7 hours of recording today, but hell yeah, it's worth it.
Pays
Loved
off.
it.
See you, man.
See you, man.